the old chat is still on the screen. Oh my. Not sure what to do about that one. I guess because it was very recent. It's only been like an hour. Hey. Okay. I don't know how many folks are gonna pop in for this one, but we are calling it a late night quickie. Liz might join us. I don't know. She might have gotten distracted while I did dinner and stuff. Who's to say? I am not mad. It is a weird time. It is after midnight. There are at least some lurkers left over from the art stream who are asleep or spontaneously woken up by me being here. Don't worry. I am going to check out character custom. It's going to be great. Okay? Okay. And we'll keep an eye out for good old Lizzie. I am way to the... Right. I forgot I was under the chat. It's just better usually. There we go. Hi. So that, I can't clear that. I don't know how to clear that on this case. I tried, and it did not actually clear out the log, so... Oh, she's logging in. Okay. I will send her an invite once I am in a lobby. So let's start making a lobby. Oh, she doesn't feel like I rushed her. Just wanted to do this before I got too much later. Quick little checkout. But I will invite her to play. Heck yeah. Now, I don't know how to actually do the customization yet. We have to find that button. Is this it? I found it. I found it. We sure have some faces. They have names. A hacker was told to get a job and get alive. I see. Okay. Soft-spoken professor of parapsychology. Professor Spooky. That's unfortunate for you, sir. We've got Vince Ravenhill. Oop, I hear a Lizzie.
It's me, I'm here.
I found where we set up our stuff.
Welcome to the secret Phasmophobia stream.
Yee. Oh, it says you're live now. You know what that means? I can knock. And then we can do the thing we always do. Because we're silly. Here, shared chat. This is different than usual. I found a special button. I haven't shown you my special button. I'm going to show you. I adjusted my layout on the twitch.com. The dashboard.
Been turned into a black man.
Yeah, you did too. Yeah, we both, I mean...
We've both been turned into a black man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
that's not a problem, except that I am a very extremely white, and this makes me uncomfortable somehow.
It's a curse meant to teach us better empathy. Because we have to live a life that was not ours. I don't know. I'm trying to make a narrative out of it, but yeah, we are just the same black man. But not just any black man. I
appreciate that that's the default, somehow.
His name is Amir Kelly, and he was a hacker.
DEI bullshit?
What? Oh, yes.
What is this DEI bullshit?
No. Yes, absolutely. So all the customization is on the computer. Oh my goodness, start walking. Oh, I know they said they have to sync that up still, but that's... You glide. And it's a bit jittery. Yeah. Supposedly, like,
You
speed.
also glide.
Do my footsteps change with my run speed?
No!
They fixed it?
It took away our view of the ocean!
That's okay. We'll have fun new bugs to worry about. They have enough bugs to worry about that they already are saying some of these will be patched by next week. Now, what I really love is that our character models have what I can only describe as dead dog eyes. Just the 1,000-yardiest stare. So if we're the same character model, how come I am staring right at your jugular when I'm looking level?
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, well.
Like, I have to look up to look at your face.
Vince Ravenhill. After being wrongly accused, Vince has finally made it out of prison. We can put him back in prison. He has a golden retriever personality despite his life behind bars. This dude looks like an actual person that I've met, but I can't explain who. Robin Byrne. Byrne? 1 part gifted kid, 2 part devil's advocate. I hate him already. A cocky guy who actually has the smarts to back it up. Trying to figure out what to do with his life by putting it on the line. Okay. Lame. Mr. Bald. I think maybe every man has the exact same chin.
It looks like it.
Looking for any excuse to postpone his return to civilian life after being retired forcefully from the army. And he's the unspoken leader of the group? Is that because we're all scared of him?
I am scared of no white man.
I am. It looks like they have slightly different head sizes, but all like the base same head shape. Dustin Park.
Oh, sad.
Oh, good. The
can only be natural hair colors.
That sucks. That doesn't seem very ghost huntery at all, to be honest. You know you're off to a strong start when your biography's first line is, "You never take anything seriously," is a constant complaint from Dustin's mom.
I can't remember put so many piercings on this man.
Winnie will believe things when she sees them, and even then she'll probably need extra proof. Found a myth she can't debunk and can't decide if that's freeing or terrifying. That hair is it's not terrible actually. It's a job. Like that is so many
I have to buy jewelry.
layers and polys and shit trying to make that look right. That's not easy to do though. Granted, Phasmo and hair do not have the strongest streak. What is this comb over, lady? Oh, good nose. They also good nose. They also have slightly different noses. I walked right into that one. Huh?
Why do I pay $5,000 for glasses?
Hate crime? Grace, if that is in fact her real name, is a mystery.
Alternatively, this is just like real life.
Okay. Oh boy, the stairs. Why can I see... Oh, it's an underbite. I thought I could just see eternity in your mouth. I still kind of think that. Your teeth are like showing through the underbite. Okay. Okay. Evie Petrova. Fueled by spite and determination. Lady with hair that looks like I did something awful to mine. And apart for day. They just don't do hair well, do they? Okay.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
There's a scroll bar, like we're gonna get more of these later. Okay, Meg and her friends used to run a fake ghost busting business. Yeah. bubbly,
I don't have nearly
mortician.
enough money to engage in this.
What?
I don't have nearly enough money to do this and buy equipment.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this doesn't reset when you prestige.
Hopefully.
See, I like Zara because bubbly mortician, but again, I am extremely white, so I have to pick one of the extremely white ones probably. And unfortunately, the extremely white one is this alcoholic ant-looking bitch. So, all right, that's where we'll start with Meg Mars. Oh, she has one hairstyle. And it's...
We all have one hairstyle.
Okay, well, I can make it look like I've seen way too much in Gone Gray, at least. So that's at least explains the texture of the hair. I was, I was really hoping they'd
It does look like once you buy a category, you can pick anything from that category. Because I did just buy myself a septum piercing, but I can't apply all the other piercings that are in the category, it seems.
Oh my god. Her hair texture is just plains. Which is normal, but they're vertical.
Does that transfer between characters?
They're vertical fucking slices. They're literally...
Okay.
What the fuck? No. You take this, you put it backwards so it's visible from more angle. Or you do a triangle or something. Oh my god. Okay. I mean, this lady at least has the punk lesbian thing going on. Sure, let's be Evie, I guess. Let's go Gilf with it. I don't know. I don't like any of those. Coming soon.
Meg's hair looks really bad.
Man, they all look really bad. Oh my god. Like, holy cow. Okay. I'm not going to say I really expected better, but I expected...
Different?
I don't know.
I feel like as long as they've been promising us this, I at least expected to have a wider range of hair colors and like hairstyles to pick from. Yeah.
You know, with how long they've been working on it, I don't know what
I wasn't expecting a full-on The Sims 4 experience, but I was expecting
maybe some facial tweaks, some shape keys to slide around, like something, like hair that looks good. I mean, hers is okay. It still looks like an asset store thing, kinda. Oh my god, she is breathing. Like, would an animation kill you? And it's like, yeah, no, she's doing it. Okay. Yes, dear. Oh, if I want...
I have to pay for my Curse Hollow mask. Perfect.
Turn off your fan? Yeah, how high would you like it? Okay, so I have to buy earrings. I'm too poor to have earrings. Got it.
True.
I have to buy any jewelry.
The cost of the clothing is criminal, in my opinion.
I can wear this really tiny firefly that I feel like we unlocked elsewhere. Where is my mask? Okay.
In the clothing section.
Coming soon. Okay, so we can tweak our card more directly now. That's nice.
Well, I might as well use that t-shirt. What? Why don't you want me to... Oh, because I have the jacket that I haven't paid for on yet. Okay. Nope, that's still not it. It's the hat, also.
You can't see the animation
Sure, I'll
in
keep the
the...
hat. That's fine.
Okay.
Oh, you get to pick between blue jeans or brown jeans, and both of them look like your crotch is melting a little bit.
I see. I hate that I just made
Oh,
a
but they
little...
do come in 3 colors each.
What do you mean I can't save? It's my badge. I can save my badge. I'll kill your family.
I have a pink shirt. I guess I have the yellow jacket.
Okay. Why can't I save? Oh, because I have to actively disable things I clicked on as an experiment?
Yeah. If you
That's
have anything selected
obnoxious.
that you haven't paid for yet, you can't save.
That's obnoxious. Okay. Now, supposedly one of these models, if you put a hat on her, she turns bald. So, mind that.
Ooh.
Maple Life Campsite. Disney would have made these, like, unlockable through gameplay instead of just money, but what do I know about game design? I'm just a game dev. I don't know if this is abundantly clear. I have beef with some of the stuff that the Phas team does. I really do. In terms of game design. But whatever. Oh, yeah.
Well, I've spent my money on customizing my character.
Well, if nothing else, the spirit mask does hide the dead dog eyes. A phrase that I just have in my head now thanks to that stupid Weed Gummy song. Thanks, SNL. I'll keep the hat, even if it gives me a weird hairline that clips into my head. At least it's something. Oh, I can change its color. Thank God. The black one seems silly. Why is the text even there? The gold one makes me look like I'm about to be a janitor. I guess default is fine. $10,000 jacket.
Ah, the hat has given you a large bald spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, $10,000 for the jacket, right?
A $10,000 jacket? Are you insane? It doesn't even look like it was made for her. It doesn't sit on her normally. It sits like it was made for a dude and just hangs because, oh yeah, we turned the tit slider on. This one's okay. And what's with the pants?
Oh, they're not all the same price. Okay.
They're all $10,000 jackets.
Yeah, the shirts are all $10,000 except for the one. And yeah, the crotch on the pants is
horrible.
Not great.
I hate the crotch. I hate the crotch.
It's so bad.
Like, even in the previews, like, oh, I hate that. $10,000 just to have a nice sweater? Just have a nice knitted sweater. Just to... Who is this fucking for? Prestige level 1 t-shirt. You unlocked by hitting prestige level 1. $5,000. No, I hit the prestige. Give me the t-shirt. What?
For the record, I'm not prestige. Should I still have access to that shirt?
You have access to that shirt because you played it before the update. Everyone's prestige 1 that played before the update with prestige.
Oh,
when they did the level
that
reset. You don't have prestige 2, which, again, why? Why do you have to buy shit that you should just unlock for doing the game? Oh, no, the sweater comes in gross patterns. That's okay if you want to be a grandma. Oh, Liz. Oh, no. I'm turning into one of the haters. Why is the shirt tucked in no matter what? Those pants do not go with a tucked in shirt. Those pants go in with like your underwear's hanging out. Those look terrible. They have no crotch. The pants are crotchless.
They do.
They're hanging down, but there's no definition to the crotch. They did that so they wouldn't have to... It's so easy to just animate that part of a body, guys. You just do the... So, fun fact, when you animate geometry into other geometry, you get folding if you're not careful. But this actually works in your benefit with specific aspects of, say, the human body, where that creasing is natural. It is a fun side effect of how it works. You can get natural creasing, and around, say, the groin area is an area where that is one of the cases where it just kind of works out in your favor usually, unless of course you model something that is somehow miraculously utterly groinless. Look at the pants from behind. It doesn't even match the front. It's like they drug the front down an extra mile. What is this crotch?
Yeah, the booty actually doesn't look too bad.
It's like they were worried, like something. Like, what are they hiding? What are they fucking hiding? What are they worried about as a bug that they have to do that to the pants? Could they not weight paint? They couldn't weight paint.
They secretly included dong under all the pants. Let me what? No, there's no dong in here.
They didn't weight paint, did they? They didn't. They don't know how to weight paint. They don't. They barely seem to know how to model. They don't know how to make a progression because I didn't unlock my stupid shit that I earned, except my Cursed Hollow t-shirt I got through Cursed Hollow. Yay me. It comes in one color.
Right.
Oh, good. The other pants also have a low-ass crotch, but at least you can spend $10,000 to get rid of this jeans texture. Because when I think
cheap... That's the thing about the other ones is I think the crotch looks worse on the other ones.
I'm thinking if I make it
really
black.
Bad either way, but
if it's in black, maybe you can't look at it too much. I am in awe. Like, I'm almost certain this necklace that they want me to buy to unlock the category necklaces is in fact something I unlocked from the events. The fact you can't just have glasses. You can't just have glasses, honey. Oh my god, you can't color the glasses. You can't.
I had to pay $5,000 for my glasses.
You can't even color the. Fine, buy them. Give me the glasses. I'm incomplete without glasses. I hate you. Die in a fire. What do you mean I can't save? Could you highlight what I left click? If I can't wear it, don't leave it on when I leave the category. I will hunt down your family.
If you click cancel, it'll just reset you to where you were before, but...
Yeah, but if you haven't saved in a few steps... Okay, I put on glasses. Oh, good, you got some weird bald shit going on, too, because these devs don't know how hair works.
Beautiful. We love it.
I see we both opted for the visible from space jacket. Also, our badges do not show up on our sleeves. Very cool. Just a white circle. Oh, there's a circle on the other side, too. I wonder if they're both supposed to show the badges. Who knows?
I see your badges.
Oh, okay. Well, then, sync error, scream. Did you update?
I see one of your badges.
Oh, you have a white spot still.
Oh. I changed that, but alright.
I don't know.
Glad to see it's not... It shows us the paw over here on the... Let's see if it fixes.
Well, at least it makes a new matching,
Oh, it is the paw.
Oh, it's just white for me because it hasn't loaded. Cool, great, awesome. Perfect game. Also, your glasses clip into your nose. They had one job, and it was to make your... Wait, hold still. Is your nose ring supposed to be like a set, like the side or the septum thing?
The septum.
Okay, so it is supposed to come out of one nostril and just hang there?
It's supposed to go. It's supposed to be in both of them.
Can you see my... Should I screenshot this for you?
You should screenshot it for me because I'm not looking at your stream.
Okay, it kind of looks like you just have one really dumb nose hair. Okay. Oh my god. I knew it was still like your glasses. It would be fixed if they just went up on your head a little
But it
bit.
did such a good job.
Yeah, look down.
It did such a good job.
Just look down.
You need to look down.
Look up a little more. Perfect. Perfect. Here's what your glasses look like. They
Oh, they're straight up in my nose.
they're straight up they're like surgically implanted.
Sometimes that's how my real glasses feel.
Oh, but good news. Good news. Your skin is so immaculately textured. It might be textured in reverse because it looks like your pores are going outward, but it's textured. You're almost scaly like a reptilian, but you're textured. It is so textured. Oh my god. Am I textured? Oh yeah, let's chin off. Let's have a chin off. Having a chin off.
I'm trying to see. Oh, now I'm inside you. Alright.
Nice.
Hey, you're textured.
Well, I did call it a late night quickie, so. Okay, how jank do I look? Let's just start there.
Yeah, you look fine. I think your glasses are a little high up on your nose, maybe, but
It could be worse. They could be inside of it.
yeah.
I'm amazed. I am amazed at how, like, literally, okay, so not to whip out one of the best character customizers in the industry, as far as I know. PSO, for all of its faults, is known for having an extremely good character customizer, especially New Genesis. You can take accessories like glasses and, like, fine-tune their positioning. And by fine-tune, I mean you could put them over your nipples for all they care. Some sliders would do wonders, is all I'm saying. This is a case of the shape of the nose is dictated by the body you choose. At least the head. The bodies are all basically clones. So they have static nose sizes, but nowhere in the character data do they keep track of, like, what offset they need for certain things, for, like, scale or position. So they limited the options to make it harder to break. And in the process, did nothing to stop it from breaking. Awesome.
What I was really expecting was to be given, like, 3 character models.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Dude 1, Dude 2, and Booby Lady, basically.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if we're lucky.
Yeah.
And then you just click through, like, pick your hair, pick your accessories, etc.
Yeah.
And there'd be a, like, pool of those that was free.
Yeah. Honestly, I was expecting microtransactions.
Pool free, but
That's what I'm seeing in the future. Part of why they don't want mods. Let's just add a bunch of microtransactions down the line. That's what I'm expecting. But
oh, I can have a badge for spending all of my money.
Yep.
So that everyone who looks at my card knows that I'm rich.
Oh, good.
That fixed my white spot.
I have $700 because I spent all my money on fucking glasses so I can see. Let me see. Other side. Over here. Yeah. You got your badge now.
Nice. So if you're supposed to have 2 badges, only one of yours is showing up.
Same. Okay. So this is just the first layer of what they've changed, Liz. Have you tried pushing J yet?
Ah! Ah! I can see your journal!
Does it change if I'm looking a different direction? Because you're holding yours straight out in front of your head. So if I look down, is it less stupid? No, it's straight out in front of your head. Okay. Oh no, Liz. So I have toggle. I have toggle on for my mic, right? So it used to have a little icon on the bottom left behind my little otter cat, right? That would tell me if I had toggled mute or not.
I don't see it anymore.
They've moved it to the watch.
Journal.
Oh, this is so much smaller.
Am I talking now?
Okay, I appreciate what they're going for here. Can I make it closer to me? Can I please make this closer to me?
Familiar findings can make the journal bigger. Why can't Phasmophobia?
Oh, because familiar findings makes it a
Video?
window.
Nope, it's on video.
Fog quality.
Controls.
Oh, dudes, this isn't it. Oh my god. Okay. But good news, you hold your journal.
Apparently, can turn off the immersive animations.
Good, great. Oh, I think that's only
Alternative ports, whatever that means.
I think immersive animations is specifically for VR.
Yeah, that tracks.
Oh my god, you're right in my face. Oh, good, good. We have a little worm light. So we can see. Oh my goodness. Okay, so... What happens? Oh, what the... Okay. Wait, what? Hi, Liz. You should go, try to pick something up and see what happens. Yeah.
My hand comes out.
Yep.
And then I pick it up, and my hand does a grabby motion, but it's already in my hand.
Yeah.
That's gonna need some work, guys.
I do appreciate the big visual indicator of can grab this, though. I won't lie about that. Alright, it's time for the big test, Liz. We need to crouch. Crouch for me. Oh, that is much less stupid, but also... No more big dumpy booty. Oh, your legs do some shit, though. Go sideways. Oh, that's terrible. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. So... okay. Oh, good, I can poke the radio. Oh, hi. I don't know how to feel.
It's new era.
It's... There's upsides, there's downsides. Here's a weird question. You can see this in my hand.
And yet no hand animations. What?
You grab this from me?
I can't see it in your hand.
Can't take it?
I'm trying.
Oh.
I can't take
Oh, it's on my belt now. You take it from my belt? That's where a clipboard goes.
It's funny that it's there.
I also had this the entire time. Do you like my cock ring? I have no idea where it is, but it's on me somewhere.
I don't see it.
Oh my god, looking down at your own knees as you spin in a circle is a new and honestly distracting experience. Look at your poor feet if you change direction. Like, start spinning one way and then turn and watch your foot.
No, my ankles are breaking.
Oh my god! Oh, so this is what I wanted to make sure we didn't miss. I wanted to make sure we saw the jank before they fixed some of the jank. Nice clipboards, Liz. Liz, stand up. I need to show you. I need to.
I'm very fashionable.
Stop! Stop moving! Stop moving! Stop moving! You're so ready for the office. No, it's too big for fucking. I gotta go open paint. I gotta open paint. Oh my god! Hold on. You need to know. You need to know. It's the law. It's the law, man. There you go. There's your... You are so ready for this meeting. You have no idea how ready for the meeting you are. Did you grab a book, too? Is that your journal? Just on the side? You just have that
Maybe.
there. That looks... God. Okay. Oh my god.
But you also have yours just there.
Did they make it
That's a
worse?
choice.
Did they somehow make this worse?
Oh, I found Where's your ring?
What? I just threw it. You want it back? Here.
Oh, you just threw it. Okay.
There you go, it's
Put
back.
it back in your belt. Where is it? Nowhere, it seems.
Pat me down, baby. Let's go. Your head is in my crotch, but don't worry.
It's in your hand.
My crotch is infinite. So you'll never find the inappropriate part. Because it's 10th. Do you think the crouch animation is why they made the crotch so low?
You know, maybe. I'd believe it.
Oh, you know, I'll be honest. I kind of ignore the Steam discussion boards most of the time because people are so mean to the game for no reason. But now there's a reason. I'm so curious. Oh, oh, I have to look, right?
They finally got what they wanted.
Oh yeah, yeah. We all got what we wanted.
The monkey's paw.
No shit. Oh, it's on brand. Okay. Discussions. Let's look. Let's look. How did they think releasing this was a good idea? Oh yeah, Tier 3's camera now blocks your cursor. They're working on it.
Lovely.
Equipment jittering. They want to... Why is the new update so disgusting and unfinished? I like the idea that they added animations. Their actual effect is awful. Disappointed after update. Tell me why so we can cry together. Burger phobia buns update? What the hell? This update took my badges. I'd kill. Can't read the journal anymore. Held so far away that neither me or my spouse can read the text very well. We are older folks, so it may just be our eyes. That was a big one for me. And then someone's like, you need to see an eye doctor. Like, yeah, I've seen an eye doctor. Mind you, 7 awards on I can't read the journal anymore. Why'd they make it so small?
Yep.
We're discussing reverting the game back to the previous version until they have fixed this. I don't think you can do that.
Lots of people wanting them to roll back to a previous version.
Oh yeah, there's okay. So it wasn't. That was the big one I was wondering about because I can barely read this. Like I usually have my Twitch chat zoomed in and everything. Like I can read it, but if I was on 1080, I don't think I'd be able to. And even then, my instinct is to try and zoom in. That's really small. And it's a raw accessibility thing. So again, the kids who are privileged as shit are like, hey, you know, it's your problem you can't read. Like, no, this is basic accessibility. If you cannot make your text legible, you fucked up. That's why a lot of games have the option to disable pixel fonts. Which I should probably add to Slime Forest at some point. Whoa. Liz. Do we want to try an investigation and see what that's like now?
I'd be down.
All right, let's
Here, the spirit box is just fucking broken.
What?
A thread I was looking at said the spirit box is just broken.
Great. Let's go to Tanglewood and see what up. Just in time for Alan Wake. Also, I don't like that the leader of the group is a dude who is forcibly discharged from the arm. What the fuck was that? You walked towards me and it looked like you had a fucking lemon wedge in your mouth. Would it have killed them to put some smoothing in the animation? We're so jittery. We're like fucking claymation, man. Holy shit.
Escape the ghost. Parabolic microphone.
Did
Blow
they
out a
import
firelight.
them wrong?
Okay.
What did they do? Oh, wow. Hey, Liz, do you like seeing what you're doing? No, you don't. Pick that up.
Oh. Okay. I mean, I guess you're kind of looking through the screen anyway, but...
Yeah, they're talking about changing that already, but like, damn. It's basically the way it used to be if you just put it on the tripod. They also changed the minimum FOV and a bunch of other shit. Like, oh my god. Okay, flashlight goes in your offhand now. And apparently... I don't know. That's weird. Oh, your wrist. Oh, your poor wrist. Oh my god.
Your wrist, too.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Dudes, you're making
That's really bad.
God, they chose to release this. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. Thermometer's just needlessly far away now compared to what it used to be. People are saying they changed the FOV maybe, and that's what screwed up, made everything tiny, but at the same time, it's like... Honestly, I think it's just that they're trying to make it so you can see the hands. Thermometer's too far to the fucking left for what it is.
So I picked up a lighter.
Yeah.
And then I threw that one on the ground because it was the wrong one. And then it wouldn't let me pick up the better lighter, and now I don't know where it is. I picked it up, but it's not in my hands. It's just gone.
Awesome. Going great. Do I really need a second hand? Is this really necessary? I mean, I get it. It's... We have a fucking flashlight on our shoulders. Why do we need this shit? Doors have physics now? Yeah, look at that. That's actually, I like that. That's good. That's a nice one. Doors having physics is good. I like that. Fuse box basement. My frame rate is in the toilet, too. Why? Alright, I'm going to do something unthinkable for a stream. I'm going to turn off the cave. The cave is closed. I'm going to shrink familiar findings, even though it shouldn't be much. It's a little better? Good grief. Okay. Oh, good. I can make a shadow everywhere I go. That's great. Need. More immersive, I suppose. Less floating hands when I walk up the stairs or whatever, so fine. Fine. Intrusive and silly, but fine. Why is my shadow that strong? Oh, Jesus. That's because no ambient light or whatever. My shadow quality is relatively low too, but like, holy shit. Why it's so quiet? I swear to God, she died already?
No, I'm alive.
Oh, good. I didn't have a follow-up on that threat, so I'm really glad.
That's the bone.
Okay. No. Monkey paw.
Here, okay.
What?
I did get harassed.
You got harassed?
It locked me in the baby room and then was just like coming at me, but it didn't do anything.
Rude. Do I have an echo right now, too?
Yes.
Oh, that's a nice touch. We have an echo in the garage now.
I got the bone.
Okay. We have an echo over here. Still echoey?
Not really.
Oh, cool. That one I like. There's some stuff I like. It's not all bad. I just... Oh, there it is. Tarot cards. Found them. There's tarot cards. Hi. About 9 degrees. I feel like it should be warmer. It might just be in the... Okay, so we're getting low temps in the hallway, but also in the baby room. It's around here. It's not in here.
Yeah.
I found it. We found it.
Was it in this room?
Yeah. Dead grandma or whatever. Probably her right here. I feel like that should shatter for my own entertainment, honestly. There's a camera.
Be friendly.
Bring in what I can bring in. But can I still only carry 3 things, even if the flashlight is one of them? Right, so I guess just do this.
You can carry 3 things in addition to your flashlight.
I don't know. VR gets an extra one, I think, because your belt holds 3 and it goes on your hand or what. I don't know. Grab this bad boy. Let's grab this. Oh, did you get a book already?
I did grab a book already.
Fuck it then. No book. Give me this and give me that. Just give me the freaking camera. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, good. The power's off. That took no time. Is your spirit box supposed to be
Did you turn on
dancing?
all the lights?
We have EMF 5.
No.
And our physics objects in here are... Well, don't worry about it. I'll go get the lights. This blue thing versus this purple thing. Is that supposed to be my sanity? I can barely see that. It's because I'm purple. Oh my god. Just so you know, Liz.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of what I was about to bring up. Freezing temps. Oh, but I can't take a photo of it anymore. Oh. Okay, fucker. So, okay, so yeah, Liz is dead. That goes away on your watch. Our character colors make it extremely hard to even see our sanity. So if I go into my options and I change it to Not fucking pastels, I guess, even though I really like that purple. Make it a dark purple. Now I can see my fucking stamina. Okay. Let's make Liz a darker color, too. Let's go with pinkish. Because we're dealing with pos. Apply. I should at least be able to see that. Now, I like this pink, actually, but whatever. Oh, this is a pain in the ass to change. How did I get that pink before? Because this is all like... Set colors. No, they're just like that? Oh my god. I just want it to be nice purple, man. How is it pink and you can't get pink on the fucking spectrum? Pink is not available here. Pink is not on this list. Pos is... No. Orange. Fine. Sure, that's normal. Holy shit. Okay. Sure, man. That go up on the watch, too? Yes. Alright, so... we have freezing temperatures, which I can't get a photo of because apparently you can no longer leave that... I would believe Demon. I would believe a lot of things. It's very aggressive. EMF 5, not a demon. Jin, Oni, Shade, or twins. Check my camera. Excuse me. There's a lot of jack shit happening in there, but that means no orbs. Orb wasn't affecting the list anyway. Writing would be Shade, Spirit Box would be Twins, UV would be Jin, Dots would be Oni. Okay, I don't know much about Oni. I think it's one of the new ones. More active with people nearby and will drain sanity faster when manifesting. That seems quite likely, and that's Dots. So my primary guess to start is Oni. Fine. Let's just grab this bad boy. I think there's a book in there, but I don't know if she's gonna... Let's get this fucking thing. And we'll grab Salt, maybe. What? Oh, because I'm using the stupid fucking... Oh, I hate you. Okay. Fine. Light on. Light on. Light on. I'm gonna do this. Take this. Put it like here. Let's take this, put it like here so the camera can see it. That door's locked. No UV on the light. Right? No UV on the door. It's not UV. It's on the table. Sanity down real fast. Middle finger on the chart. I think it just said Dots Ghost. It's Dots. I'm calling it. It's an Oni. 100% Oni. Let's get out of here. You're dead. I don't want to hang out. Oh, good. We poke it. That's just as good as slapping the screen. You're right. Ugh.
Oh, we got the correct ghost type.
Yes, I did. I was very aggressive. I was not fucking around. Like, Liz is dead, and this will kill me real fast. Screw it.
It was a grumpy boy.
It was a grumpy boy. Well, they drain your sanity super fast. Also, I changed your color to orange and me to a dark purple, so now my fucking screen looks like Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Well, okay, so the watch shows our sanity, but the meter is our player color based on your options. So because of how my options were set up,
Right.
I couldn't see either of ours. They were too light. They were too close to the gray. Also, the hot pink default for player 4, as best I can figure out, is completely unselectable on their color selection screen. So if you don't...
I was looking at that. That's interesting.
They don't have a blue to red area. That's where your pinks.
Yeah.
That's where your pinks lie. They cut that off. So good job, dudes. God forbid we just use HSV. I guess. I don't know. Heck, if he is an HSV slider, I didn't wheel like everyone else. You want to do one more, or you want to call it?
I'd be down to do one more.
All right. You pick the map. Get your revenge map, Lizzie. Glad we're in the God. Glad we're in the God heckin' damn society.
Perfect.
Oh, breath in the truck. Great. I love that for us. Okay. I mean, the game hasn't changed much. It's just more tedious. Like, I think the Paramike's got a whole thing going on now. Like, for putting it on, I could be wrong.
Huh. Maybe I broke the game.
Broke the game?
I think maybe I broke the game when I picked up that lighter.
Really?
Because it definitely was letting me hold 3 objects.
Yeah.
In addition to my flashlight.
Yeah.
And now I have the lighter, as I should.
Which appeared in front of you on the shelf
pick up
lit.
a 3rd object.
That was very normal lighter. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me see if that works for me too. Is it in my hand?
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, when you first lit your lighter,
It is like through your thumb.
when you first lit the lighter, it appeared on the shelf with the other 2 lighters, but lit.
Ah, fun.
It's a good game.
Perfect game. No nose.
Holy shit. Gnome. We still got the gnome. It's not all bad. We got the gnome. Alright. Let's do some better stamina management this time. Taking breath in the hallway immediately, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything thanks to the snow. Power is on, use it. Hard to see that. Turn off, I was holding it. Fuck you. This isn't gonna help us till the house warms up, man. Ugh, okay. You. Hello? I heard creaking. Oh. No, it wasn't. It's in the kitchen ghost. In the kitchen. Also, I don't know if you caught this,
Kitchen
Liz.
ghosts, huh?
Last time when I got... You know, it used to be you could hold down the thermometer and you get the temperature. Do you see the thermometer temperature in my hand at all?
No. I see it saying hold.
Great. So when I throw it down, it turns off. So photo freezing temps with that thermometer, no longer a thing, I guess. Fuck you.
Oh, so it seems.
I love when the reason is because why. Monkey's paw got moved to the garage. It's not the mirror. It's not the cards. Shadow's like straight up intrusive, man. It's not here. Good. Master bedroom, bathroom, hiding spot is open. Voodoo doll found. Hmm. Hmm. Hey.
You bastard.
Lots of fun, stupid issues. Hi. EMF, bone, voodoo doll. We're golden on that. Okay. A scouting hiding
I almost
place.
got a picture of the ghost.
Damn. This one's open.
It appeared as a shadowy skeleton in front of me.
A skeleton, you say?
By the time I got my camera out, it was gone.
Alright, so all our hiding spaces are like over here, basically, this side of the house. That's cool and fun. I'd check the basement. The basement might be open. Oh, nope. Nope. Basement's for looping only. What are we doing? Okay. Well, let's grab this. Let's grab that, and let's grab this. Get a start as any. Hello?
Just move that cupboard. Dropped a crucifix right here in the corner, by the way.
Book is down. Milo, go lay down, please. Milo, go lay down, please. Go lay down! Not the time, little man. I love you. Or what you want today. I've tried to give you everything you need, and you're like all over me. Anything Gucci?
The whole room is moving, which I think means our camera's moving.
Probably. I got ghost orbs. It just opened that cupboard, but it didn't catch it as a thing to record, so that's real nice of it. Salt. One of these. Just wants me to clap for him. That's him over there, that little shadow.
Thank you. Are you friendly? You want to hurt me? Give me a sign.
Oh my god, we have UV.
Are you friendly? How did you die?
UV very confirmed.
UV confirmed.
Yeah, I see it. And footprints for Milo. Yeah, I got footprints, I got handprints. Don't sit in the dark, you're gonna get crazy and go dead. Oh.
I was just trying to get a spirit box response, but you're right.
Come here, Brooke.
You want to hurt me? Are you friendly?
Sorry. You can do it if you want. I'm just
Oh, good.
also dealing with a cat that's like, you're done being alive. Okay. Dude. We got ghost orbs. We got
My candle.
UV. What's the temp
Fine.
say at this point? We got freezing. Alright, I'm testing this.
Freezing temps, nice.
Is it just a visual bug? Click. My entire tab froze. Footprint, fingerprint, Google all email. Oh, no, it didn't matter. We're being hunted? Yep, bye.
Oh, okay.
That was fucking fast. Didn't get video of you dying. Jesus Christ. Want to. Yep. I'm good, actually. I'm done after this, I think. We were just doing a quickie. Ice cream or something before bed. See if I can get a couple videos or anything. Maybe you don't see it. It's right there. It's. You suck. Whatever. Okay, it's a haunt too. I hope you're here and you hear that. It's a haunt too. I'm hitting the dang button. Oh. Alright, so what have we learned?
We've learned that I need to fix my survival instincts.
Yeah, maybe. Did you just stand there in the kitchen again? We both kind of did for a second, like, is it happening? Oh, I think it's happening.
It's happening!
I thought it was going to come after me. I saw it coming down the hallway, made eye contact with the fucker, ran into the kitchen. I was getting ready to try to loop it. There were no hiding spots anywhere near
I was
it.
ready to try to take a picture of it. I was like, it's way too early for it to be hunting me right now.
No, I was at 30% sanity.
Ah, well, that would explain it.
Yeah, you were also sitting in the dark for a while, and we're unprofessional, so...
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay, so my feelings right now on this update. Mixed bag. Mixed bag. I don't know what else to say. Apparently it keeps your outfit when you change characters, just so you know. So now everyone has the exact same pair of glasses. Cool, I guess. Oh, that's awesome. You can wear the curse mask and the glasses at the same time. As one does.
Yep.
They're so expensive, though. Like, holy shit. I feel like they balance way too much of the unlock stuff around the streamers who are on this all the time. Like,
Yeah.
for people that are just trying to play through the game, the progression is so fucked because you got to be good to even afford the upgrade items. Instead of, again, I feel like you should get paid for using the shittier ones, but what do I know? A lot. I like that they tried. Some of the animation stuff is nice, and some of it is your ankles when you, oh my god, turn in a circle. Oh my god. Oh, I can like 180 those fuckers. Okay. The shadows you cast when you're walking around, better than a floating object, intrusively distracting. Flashlight feels almost mandatory just to see right in front of you sometimes now.
Yeah. I will say it feels a little bit more unsettling
Yeah.
than it did before, like the entire experience.
And the ambient, like the stuff like the echo in the garage and stuff, good. They were talking about doing that. I approve of that. That's great. Also, when the ghost was hunting, I did not hear his footsteps all over the fucking house, just when he was nearby, so maybe they've started implementing the sound updates too, secretly? I don't know. It's not all bad. The customization itself...
I did hear your camera making camera noises from wherever you were.
Fun.
It made me think I was clicking the camera.
They
when I
do...
wasn't.
They do have a list on Steam of stuff that is going to be fixed in the patch next week for the Alan Wake thing. Which tells me they've known about some of these bugs since before this came out. We're going through like console approval stages, basically. Because they're launching it across everything at once, right? Fine. It is kind of fascinating to me, though, that they got this far along and never stopped to look down and turn at a moderately high speed. Like, I know inverse kinematics can be weird, and procedural animation is kind of hard, but also, I don't know, man. Maybe fix the crotch of the pants, because it also looks like my dick is shooting out over and over again. Shit. The watch is an okay idea. Make it so you can scroll the wheel in or something to get closer to the journal if you really want the watch to be a vital piece of the UI. Tighten the hands up, do something, because you can't fucking read this. It's so small. It is so small, right? Imagine playing this on a fucking Steam Deck and trying to read that. It's tiny. Like, people with good eyesight, sure. I'm almost 40 and I'm blind as a bat, and I was at like 12. So, rough. Somehow the animations are better and worse than they used to be. The hair... Liz, we need to do one more test before we hop off. Stand over here, please. I need you to stand in front of the the monitor. This one over here. Thank you. All right, now look towards the trophy case. Oh, well. Try crouching. Okay. Oh, well, okay, they did one major improvement. There's still some weird issues, but you are no longer bald when something is projected behind your head.
Amazing.
I still want to pluck that fucking nose hair, though. Real bad. All right, we'll do a real session of this or something on Monday. Maybe something. I mean, if we're gonna do the Alan Wake thing, maybe I don't know. You got that flock together thing. We could try that with Kaz. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll talk it out. We'll figure it out. But it is late. I want ice cream, and this was kind of a quickie just to check out the update. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, everybody. I know it's a weird time of night, and half of you are probably half awake. But this has been our brief and interesting adventure of about an hour and change of looking at the Phasmophobia update first impressions. First impressions, it's a little doughy. Probably put it back in the oven for a bit. But hey.
Gotta go back in.
Not quite baked. Not quite baked, but fine. What this game is, right? I could do whole write-ups on this fucking game. Maybe I should. Maybe I... Whatever. I'll put that to the committee. We'll see what they all say. Thanks for joining me at this stupid hour. Thank you for giving the book to me. Nice. It's very good. Here.
You're welcome.
Now you can look at the weird thumbprint on the top of it. Your nose. Get closer to me. Look down. Damn it, I thought your nose was clipping through it. I was going to have a delighted time. Okay, so they do the viewport thing. They got that going for them. That does make it look like you have a huge head, though. Okay.
I can see your whole book.
Nice. Can you read it?
I figured out a workaround. Yeah, sort of.
I see no text. Oh my god. You're right. I can read this great.
Have to get really close with your friend, and you can see all the stuff in the book.
All you gotta do is
actually,
cuddle up and
mark
spoon,
stuff off.
and the little spoon can read everything. I take it back. This update's perfect. See you all next time.
Bye.
Spoosh.